Imagine spending nearly $900 to grow 1 acre of corn and selling it for less than $750. That's the reality facing American corn farmers right now, and it's pushing them toward one of the biggest agricultural shifts in decades. In 2026, U.S. farmers are cutting corn acreage by over 3 million acres. States like Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota, and Nebraska, the heart of the Corn Belt, are all pulling back. So what's going on? And what are they planting instead? Let's break it down. To understand why farmers are walking away from corn, you have to understand how good things used to be. Back in 2022, corn futures topped $8 per bushel. The Russia-Ukraine war had disrupted global grain exports. Ethanol demand was surging. American farmers were riding high, and they responded the way any business would. They planted more. Corn acreage climbed and climbed. In 2025, U.S. farmers planted a jaw-dropping 98.8 million acres of corn, the most since the 1930s Dust Bowl era. Think about that. From the plains to the Midwest, planters stretched to the horizon. They also harvested a record 17 billion bushels. But here's where it gets painful. All that supply crashed the price. By late 2025, corn was trading under $4 a bushel, down more than 50% from that 2022 peak. And the costs? They barely moved. Growing an acre of corn costs around $897 today, only 3% below the 2022 record high. Fertilizer, seed, chemicals, land rent, machinery, none of it got cheaper. The National Corn Growers Association put it bluntly. Corn production is now officially unprofitable for the average American farmer. Section 2, the math doesn't work, 234.15. Let's talk numbers because this is where it gets really stark. The break-even price to grow a bushel of corn in the U.S. is around $4.75. The price farmers are actually receiving about $3.90 and $0.85 loss per bushel. Multiply that across a typical farm, and you're looking at losses of $150 to $180 per acre. For a 1,000-acre operation, that's potentially $180,000 in the red in a single season. And 2026 is projected to be even worse. The NCGA forecasts margins could be the weakest since 2005, before the ethanol boom. Costs are expected to hit $917 per acre while prices stay suppressed. One Iowa farmer described it as a perfect storm. Low prices, high inputs, and trade uncertainty hitting all at once. Farmers are drawing down equity, tapping savings, and taking on debt just to keep planting. Something has to give. And for millions of acres, it has. Section 3, the Great Rotation, 4:15-6. So what's the crop farmers are switching to? Soybeans. In 2026, soybean acreage is projected to jump about 4%, roughly 3.5 million more acres nationwide. States like Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, Mississippi, and Wisconsin are set for major soybean gains. Wisconsin is even projected to hit a record-high acreage. Why soybeans? 3 big reasons. First, lower input costs. Soybeans fix nitrogen from the air, cutting fertilizer bills. Corn is nitrogen hungry, soybeans are not. Second, rotation logic. After a near-record 98 million acres of corn in 2025, many fields are due for soy in 2026. Soybeans are the natural partner crop. Third, market signals. Record March corn stocks. Soybeans offer a slightly better marketing opportunity, with some renewed Chinese interest. Section 4. The fertilizer problem. 6:7-30. There's another major force driving this shift, and it doesn't get talked about enough. The fertilizer crisis. Fertilizer prices spiked to record highs in 2021-2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia is one of the world's largest fertilizer exporters. Although prices have pulled back somewhat, they haven't returned to pre-war levels. Then in 2025, China imposed export controls on key fertilizer components, tightening global supply further. U.S. tariff policy added more uncertainty. The result? Fertilizer could cost considerably more for the 2026 crop year. Since corn requires roughly 3 times the nitrogen fertilizer that soybeans do, every dollar of fertilizer inflation hits corn farmers disproportionately hard. It's not just about the price of what you're selling, it's about the cost of what you're buying to grow it. For farmers in the Western Corn Belt especially, where input costs and land rents are highest, the math on corn has simply stopped working. This isn't just about one crop or one season. Bigger forces are reshaping U.S. agriculture. Global demand, trade flows, and policy are shifting under farmers' feet. China, once the top buyer of U.S. soybeans, keeps shifting to Brazil's record harvests at lower prices, pressuring U.S. soy, even if it's holding up better than corn. U.S. corn exports remain solid for now, but South American competition tightens every year. Even John Deere signals 2026 may be the bottom of the machinery cycle. Few can finance big iron when they're losing money per acre. $40 billion in 2025 farm support, about a quarter of net farm income, kept many afloat. But policy help isn't permanent, and much of the new bill lands in late 2026. Bottom line, record corn acres backfired. Prices fell, costs didn't, and over 3 million acres are rotating to soy, the cheaper, smarter bet for now. Like and subscribe for more ag economics.